Hi, my name is Vandan Mujumdar. In this tutorial, we will understand the basic functionality of ECMASCRIPT, TYPESCRIPT. What is ECMASCRIPT? ECMASCRIPT stands for European Computer Manufacturers Association. ECMASCRIPT is a standard for scripting language such as JavaScript and JScript. It is a specification of scripting language. JavaScript is a language which is based on ECMASCRIPT. So JavaScript is an implementation of ECMASCRIPT. That means ECMASCRIPT is a blueprint, whereas JavaScript is an implementation. JavaScript is a general purpose language that conforms to the ECMASCRIPT specification. So remember, ECMASCRIPT is basically a blueprint for creating a scripting language, whereas JavaScript or JScript is an implementation of that blueprint. Now the next is, what is TypeScript? TypeScript is an extended JavaScript programming. The benefit of TypeScript is compilation, strong static type. In case of JavaScript, if there is any error, then you have to spend a long time to find the bugs in the code. But TypeScript compiles the code, and if it finds some sort of syntax errors, then generate compilation error. So what is TypeScript and what is the difference between TypeScript and JavaScript? JavaScript is a loosely typed language. That means JavaScript is not a strongly typed language, whereas TypeScript strong static type. In JavaScript, it is very hard for us to find errors, but in TypeScript, it is very easy for us to find errors because TypeScript compiles the code, and if it finds some sort of syntax errors, then generate compilation error. So JavaScript is a loosely typed language, whereas TypeScript is a strongly typed language. Later I will describe the difference between loosely typed language and the strongly typed language. The next topic is tokens. What is token? Token are the smallest atom of JavaScript programming. Tokens are the smallest individual words, phrases and characters that JavaScript can understand. JavaScript is an interpreted language. We all know that JavaScript is an interpreted language and TypeScript is a compiled type language. So JavaScript is interpreted and passed into tokens by ignoring comment and white space. So at the time of interpretation, JavaScript ignores comment and white spaces. After that, it will pass the entire JavaScript program into tokens. So in case of JavaScript, there are 5 types of tokens. 1. Identifiers. 2. Keywords. 3. Constants. 4. Separators. And 5th operators. What is identifier? Identifier is a word by which JavaScript developer can identify a variable or a constant or a function. So identifier is basically a word by which a JavaScript developer can identify a variable name, a constant name, or a function name. Next is keywords. What is keyword? Keyword is a special type of identifier which is used by language internally, which cannot be used by user. So the meaning of this, a user cannot use a keyword as identifier. Now the next topic is constants. So what is identifiers? Few minutes before I explained, identifiers is a token by which a developer can identify a variable, form element, function in JavaScript. And keyword or reserved word, it can be used as identifiers. It is a special identifier. So it can be used by JavaScript itself. A user cannot declare keyword as identifier. Here is an example. Var a equals to 6. So A is a variable and var is a keyword. So a user cannot use var as identifier because var is a special identifier. Otherwise, you can say var is a keyword or reserved word. So it is used by programming itself. Now, the next topic is constant. So constant, what is constant? Constant symbolizes that its value cannot be changed. Means it is an identifier that cannot be redeclared or reassigned. That means redeclared or redefined. A user can redeclare or redefine an identifier if he or she used constant. So constant is a reserved keyword. Here you can see the example const a equals to 5. Const a equals to 5 is basically a statement. So suppose the developer wants to change the value of a variable. Here the variable is a and the value of a is 5. Suppose I want to change the value of the variable a. So using const it is not possible, but using var it is possible. Suppose I want to change the value of this variable a 6 to 8. So after declaring, here you can see var a equals to 6, a equals to 6. That means a is declared and assigned in the same line. Now I want to write a equals to 8. So using var it is possible, but a equals to using const it is not possible. So a JavaScript developer cannot write a equals to 7 after const, after this line. That is the reason it is called that if a developer use const keyword, then that value cannot be redeclared or reassigned. I think you have understood. And few minutes before I explained that JavaScript is a loosely typed language. Why? Here you can see a equals to 5. 5 is an integer value. Here a developer can use, okay, 1 minute, var equals to 6. Here you can see 6 is an integer. Suppose the developer wants to write 6.5. That means wants to define a decimal value. So suppose a developer wants to define a boolean value or character value. So in JavaScript, only one keyword is used to declare all types of value, whether it is integer, decimal, boolean or character. That is var or const. That is the reason JavaScript is called loosely typed language. But TypeScript is not a loosely typed language. It is a strongly static type. But why? In JavaScript, we use same keyword to represent all types of data. If you have knowledge on C programming language, then you know int keyword is used to represent integer value. Float and double, these two keywords are used to represent decimal values. Bool keyword is used to represent boolean values, and char or array of character is used to represent character and string. But in JavaScript, we use var or constant keyword to represent all types of data. In TypeScript, we have to use a specific type for each and every data. Suppose we want to represent integer value. In case TypeScript, you have to specify such keyword. That is the reason TypeScript is called strongly static type and JavaScript is called loosely typed language. That is the reason TypeScript is called strongly static type language and JavaScript is called loosely typed language. I think you have understood. And one thing you must keep in your memory, that TypeScript will not work individually. TypeScript has to be converted into JavaScript file. That's JavaScript file works. So you cannot directly work with TypeScript. TypeScript has to be converted into JavaScript. In my upcoming tutorial, I will explain TypeScript. For now, you just keep it in your memory that TypeScript will not work separately. It has to be converted into JavaScript or JS file. The next topic is separators. Separators, there you can see there are multiple separators. Parenthesis, never call it first bracket. This is parenthesis symbol. This is curly brace symbol, specifically used in loop. Square braces, specifically used in array. Semicolon, comma, and period. These all are separators. So separators, you can see separators are tokens. And last and important token is operators. There are three types of operators: unary operator, binary operator, and ternary operator.